Skate 2 is the second installment in an EA series that took skateboarding in a new, realistic direction. Does this sequel to the Tony Hawk killing franchise live up to its predecessor? Here's my review. I will admit, the first time I heard of Skate, I was in love with the Tony Hawk franchise, and I thought EA was going to end up producing a shoddy bid for a piece of Hawk's delicious arcadey pie. I played the demo just to see how terrible it was, and I was blown away at how fun it was. Simple tricks and grabs that you actually had to work for, and it was very rewarding when you pulled off that long line that you were trying to do for half an hour. Now the sequel to EA Black Box's Tony Hawk Killer is back with Skate 2. Let's see how it does. I will admit I never beat the first Skate, so I don't know what happens at the end, but at the beginning of Skate 2 you have just been released from prison, and are set loose on New San Vanalona to skate around. San Vanalona is the city from Skate 1, but this map is completely different from the old one. The excuse for this being that a series of earthquakes forced the government to rebuild. The story is definitely not the focus of the game. It's your basic from novice to king story as you impress the pros, win races, and get on the covers of magazines. The story is really there just to hold it all together, but it comes off as annoying. Most of the voice acting is filled with dudes and sweets. I understand this to be the kind of thing that a skater might say, but if that's true, skaters are annoying. There really needed to be a way to turn your announcer off without muting all other voices telling you what to do, as this guy loves to rub your failings in your face. He doesn't seem to realize that telling you that you crashed is unnecessary, as you probably already know. So in short, the story is forgettable and the voice acting annoying. Luckily, the sound effects are very nice, very realistic, and exactly what you'd expect a thing to sound like. The soundtrack is also mostly forgettable, and the option to use your own music is only present on the 360 version, so keep that in mind, PS360 owners, when deciding which system to play it on. The game is a bit above average in terms of visuals. Textures are nice and most animations are smooth. Some elements look out of place, like the brightly colored water, but for the most part it's a very eye-pleasing game. When walking upstairs, your feet even hit the exact step instead of just walking up an invisible ramp, which is a nice touch. The first big upgrade to Skate 2 over its predecessor is the ability to get off your board, and it's nice that you're able to do it. It's better than nothing, but the on-foot controls really could not have been done any worse. You can only move forwards. You can't move side to side, and you can't walk backwards. The only way to turn is by swinging the camera around to face where you want to go. This means that you will only get off your board when completely necessary. With this new feature is the ability to grab almost anything that isn't bolted down in the world and move it around to your liking. I love this feature, as you can even do it during challenges, meaning that if you can't do a challenge in its default form, you can move some objects around to help you. You can even set up your own spots, then upload those spots for other gamers to play and rate. That said, the actual skating is the best part of this game, as it should be. Pulling off a complex set of tricks in sequence feels as rewarding as ever. Now, if only it wasn't so hard to pull off a specific flip or grind. The missions that require a specific flip or grind are few and far between, but when you do come across one, you'll thank God for the game not requiring all missions to be done, especially in the awful skate missions, which require you to play a form of horse with one or more other skater. Another complaint with this game is that there are so many challenges that put things like cars, pedestrians, and other skaters in your way. It's as if the game is encouraging you to try something, saying that it'll be fun, then running you over with a car when you're trying to do it. I swear, there have been missions where I try something a dozen times, failing each time. Then the only time it looks like I'm gonna make it, I get hit in mid-air by another skater. The pedestrians are a bit better from Skate 1. They will jump out of your way most of the time, but sometimes they'll be just fine where they are and jump into your path. Make no mistake, there are several controller-throwing moments in this game. Online is done in a Burnout Paradise fashion, admittedly not as well and with more loading times, but it still works. There are team challenges you can do with others, you can compete against each other to see who's better at a certain jump, you can even see who's better at crashing in the new Hall of Meat game mode. Multiplayer will keep you going after you finish the fairly lengthy single player. Just be prepared to spend a good amount of time loading or waiting for your turn. Despite all these flaws, when the skating of Skate 2 works, it's undeniably fun. If you like skateboarding games, give this game a try. If you played Skate 1 and didn't like it, then this game won't be the one to change your mind about the franchise. Besides a few more tricks in your repertoire, the skating mechanics feel very much the same and untouched. This game advances the series only just enough to not be considered Skate 1.5, but for the most part, it's an enjoyable time. EA's Black Box's Skate 2 gets a B. A good, solid game that won't change anyone's mind about the franchise, but is a refreshing continuation for existing fans. Next week, my year in review. I've got 3 mini reviews of some of the best games of 2007. All this and much more next week on the Sharp and Pointy Perspective.